Okay, so as we have given button, when user is clicking on it, it is entering into its definition. Okay, and now let us write here with the concept of try, catch, and throw. A try is a block. Is it recording? Okay, recording. A try is a block which used to execute a statements if there is any problem in that statements, I mean any errors, what we have to show or something else, then we push them into the catch block. So let us write try. For example, where a equals to 10 and where
तो भी इधर ही थी देखो बना वो रात को जिया
sorry
एक और दे देना
something we have where a 10 and where b equals to 25, and now we are writing a condition if b that equals to 20, then it has to execute a statement or statements what we are writing here, and then so just showing that value. For example, if it is getting false, we are entering into the else block and throw. Throw is a built-in function which passing the message to the catch block. So C is not equal to 20. It is something that we are passing a message where a user can easily understand. So then how to see the catch? So then catch with catch of message, then let us write here. So now let us see that output. Exception or error handling, where is that? Okay, here. When user clicks on it, see we are able to see the message in the catch block which we have passed with the error, sorry, with the message from the through built-in function. Then, for example, if it is 20, and then we are getting an output. That is what a simple example we have done here with the concept of a try doing some execution. If that execution is going correctly, and we can get some output. If something is went wrong according to our logic, and we are throwing a custom message, and that is passing to the catch block. Okay, so this is how we are working on this. Then now let us work with the concept of, for example, okay, in somewhere else we have discussed the concept of callback right now. Let me just write a callback function how and what it is. What is a callback function? Let me write here. mm, Callback function dot html. What is the concept of callback function? A function is acting as a parameter to another function. So how, for example, let us write here. Login func of, we are passing something, an email. Okay, let me write here. And registration function. So in the login function, you're having two parameters. One is with, what you can say, value, and this value even can also be accessed in the callback function. A function call, as you have written here, and you can write the definition. So let us do one thing. Okay, how can you write its definition? Function space, mm, login function of, we are passing two things now, so we can just say first one is, we can say as email argument, and making something, it is called callback function. So when you are entering into this, then now in the callback function, okay, let me do one thing first. Document dot write email in login function. So you can say, then In this, we are writing a callback function, and the same email what we have took as an argument in login function can also be a parameter for callback function. In the name of callback function, we have registration function. So when you enter into this function space, registration function, and then so the concept, if you observe, the common property, sorry, the common, what you can say, parameter is used in different places with a different functionality. I mean, you can create a login functionality at a separate with email login functionality, and with the same email at registration with registration, creating something else. Okay, so how you can create? Just writing here. Then registration function of email. Okay, let me write that statement. Okay, let me write here email in registration function. Then so we are getting output at login and we are getting output at registration. The concept here is how a function is acting as a parameter, and when you enter into its definition, you can write your own statements of execution. Presently, we just have written one statement, but you can write a number of statements according to your requirement. This is how you can do it. Then the next is the concept of, we can say, object concept, because actually we need to discuss about the concept of closure. But to discuss about the concept of closure, we need to get a clarity about object. What is an object? An object is an instance of an, what you can say, class, and who can hold in, or else you can say an object is a instance of a class which can have a template. In that template, we can have properties and methods. That is, we can say we give an access to the group of properties and methods. Simply, we can say, let me tell you. Of course, here there is no point of drop down, I think. Sorry, not drop down. Drawing. Okay. Okay. So let me tell you like this. So far, whatever we have done, let us just discuss. First, when there is a requirement to manipulate with the values or data, we just have done with the variables, right? And a variable which is just holding a one value, one variable, one value. Then later, as to hold a group of values at a time, we entered into the concept of an array. And then with a group of statements, combination of variables or array variables and set of statements that we have to execute. So we enter into the concept of function. Now, our requirement is we want to maintain the data of a particular record or group of records. So how can we maintain the data of a group of records? A group of records, for example, you can say, for example, about the user we are working. About the user, I'm just writing here where a user can have name, email, mobile. Then, so the concept here is user is acting as an object where it can have an access to its properties, name, email, and mobile. And we even can also write the methods where user can have an access of, for example, name valid. I mean, we just can write something validation with as we have done something validation in the previous examples. Then email valid. Then mobile. So like this, we want to make all these and this name, email, mobile, and these three methods should be common, irrespective. Maybe user one, maybe user two, maybe user three, and so on. Accepting, sorry, accessing. So how can you make this concept of a common template where it can be written in definition and that can be accessed irrespectively with the irrespectively with the user or users to make this active action, or we can say to make this process, we just have to work with the concept of an object. An object, how it can be declared, let us write. So making something a properties and methods at one place where it can be accessible through irrespective of the object or objects, we can say it is called and maintaining or working with the concept of an object oriented. So how it is, let us write here. Object. Now, there are two ways to declare an object. Then, okay, let me tell you like this. An object is a group of, actually in JavaScript, we are not implementing the concept of class because we are just directly working with an object declaration, maintaining the properties and maintaining the methods. When we enter into the concept of ES6, we discussed with the concept of arrow functions additionally of JavaScript and additional concepts of attributes and so on, set attributes and getters and setters, some of the concepts. I mean, comparing to JavaScript, I'm saying. Comparing to JavaScript, we are entering into the advanced of ES6, and then when we enter into the Angular or React, then we maintain the concept totally in terms of a class and its properties and methods, everything. So, immediately or instantly at JavaScript itself, we are not implementing all the concepts. We are just going to be implemented one by one additionally according to the technology wise. Okay, so here we are maintaining an object is a group of properties and methods. How you can create an object? There are two ways. One is the concept of constructor, and then the concept of user defined function. So how you are going to define? For example, user one, let us take, and that equals to, if you have written like this, the meaning of this statement is, you can say assigning a value to the variable. Then if you have written like this, the meaning, a function call is assigning as a value to the variable, and its data type now will become a function. When you have written a new operator, then by saying that new operator with associated user-defined function, or by saying that an operator new space an object constructor, it is an object constructor. How can you say it is an object constructor? Means, because as we know, JavaScript is a
Excuse me.
case sensitive. Tell me, please, tell me.
I did not heard the clear voice. Can you please repeat?
I will let you know for sure. So what I'm saying is, an object that can be declared through, sorry, an object that can be declared in two different ways. One is we are saying constructor. Second thing we are saying user-defined function. So now what we are writing is var user one. That is actually something going to hold something. When you have written user one and that equals to new operator is an associated to the built-in constructor. How can you say it is a constructor? Because of JavaScript is a case sensitive, and they have defined some functions clearly, and we have to use accordingly, what you can say, even lowercase and uppercase combination also. Simply we can say all the constructors in JavaScript are maintaining in same format. What is that? As we have discussed, array. Array. If you observe, the starting letter is an uppercase, the rest of them. For example, if you have given like this, then JavaScript will consider it as a user-defined function because of it is a case sensitive of language. So in the same way, array, even we can say function, even we can say string, even we can say object. If you observe in all the names, I mean the constructor names, we have written the starting letter as uppercase, of course, as it is defined in that manner. It is a defined way, and that's why we are just using a built-in constructor. Of course, one more point. Here, date also we have discussed it right now. Date. Date is also a constructor. So irrespectively, by using the built-in constructor, you are associating with a new operator. With this, what it happens, it is just creating a new space, or sorry, new memory location with the name of user one. As saying, sorry, not as saying, assume like this. When the JavaScript executes this line, it immediately creating a box effect, I mean, that memory location, and that memory location is referring with user one to hold the values of user one. User one is a separate memory location which can have its own properties and its own methods. What are those? Then come to the point. For example, if I have written a name and that equals to something, a group of characters, then do you say this is a name which is under the object of user one? No. You can say, see, when you are saying it is under the object of user one, then what is the concept of here, the very beginning, what we have done, right? Something value that we are assigned to the variable. So we don't say these two things are under the object. When you can say under the object means object name dot property name. The terminology is changing. When it is not under the object, we say it is just a variable. When it is under the object, we say it is a, what you can say, property. And the same way, object name dot property name. So let us write how, as you have saved two properties with its name, with its values of a particular user, which is user one. Now let us access those things. Document dot write user one details. Let us display. So document dot write user one dot name. Then document dot write user one dot age. So now let us see that output. Okay. So user one details we have name and age. For example, if you did not save like this, for example, if you did not access and you are trying, you did not assign the value to the property. Okay, it is a variable, but it is not under the object. Then in that case, what will be the output? Just as you did not have any value under this age, under the object one of user one, there is no value of an age property, so it is just showing undefined. Now, this is how you can create an object by using built-in constructor. Is one of the way. Then in the same way, let us do one thing first. Then now how we can declare an object using user defined function where something user2 and that equals to new space. You can write your own name. Sorry, you can write your own function name. Generally, we say it is called function call. Yes, here also it is called function call only. But as it is associated with the new operator, you are declaring user2 as an object by using user defined function. Then once it is given a call, then what will happen? You even can also give a call user defined function with its values also, something like this. So what it will happen at the time of an line execution, you are declaring an object and ready to assign these two things as a properties to under the user2. So how, as you have given user function call, then there should be a function definition, right? So when you enter into the function definition, okay, let me write in the top. You can write there also in the bot script. But let me write some, instead of writing all the definitions and statements, function calls and outputting statements, instead of writing all the things at one place, we can write a definitions separately and outputs part separately so that it can be easier to check out even a programmer if you have any errors or wants to debug throughout the program. So now let us write here function space mm, then you can say function space function name, then entering into its block, and okay, we are passing two parameters now. So let us write here an arguments name and age, and then now how can we access it? How can you declare the properties and can set the properties? Now the concept is irrespective of the object, using the same or common functionality. Meaning you may create a number of records. Here, user 1 is one record, user 2 is one record, user 3, user 10, user 20, user 10, a number of things. But there should be a common functionality. We can't write for user 2 something separate function, for user 3 something separate function right now. There should be a common functionality that should be accessed irrespective of the object. So that's the reason they have given the they have given the keyword called this. This is a keyword which is referring to the current running object. How can you say, or what is that current running object? Based on the line of this, it is entering into its definition right now. So as it is entering into its definition, we are saying that this is internally in referring to the current running object, which is called user2 dot under that name property, and that equals to its value name. whereas this dot age. Then now, as you have accessed that given two values here as a parameters to the current running object of user2. So in the same way as we have displayed the user1 details, the same way let us display the user2 details also. Document dot write. Of course, I just want to give something line break. Then meaning you just given a call to user2 and its name and its age. Right. That is the same way you even can also create an object 3. Just let me just copy and write. That's it. And here let me write here object the user 3 and make it something value. For example, okay, something. So and user 3 details. Irrespective of the object and irrespective of the what you can say values, you are entering into the same definition and just that is what we can say act referring to the current running object that can be run that can be done with a keyword this. So you can see simply another values. Okay, we have done the concept of maintaining the properties of a particular object or group of objects. But for example, if we want to maintain a method or methods of an object, that is we have done with the properties and how we can do with methods is a concept now, right? So because in the very beginning we say an object is a combination or group of properties and methods also. Now we want to make it then okay. For example, for user 2, I want to add another new concept. Then in the same way, how we are accessing, sorry, how we are referring to the property of an object, the same way we can refer to the particular method also. Okay, user 2 dot, what you can say, make it add gender and pass that value. Add gender of a male. Then we are just accessing user 2 from the user 2 object we are entering into the method as it is given a call generally we even have to write its definition of function. So add gender and we say it is gender. And then same from the object, from the current running object, we are entering into this now. So this dot gender and that equals to assigning that value. Okay. So now let us see that output, that value of gender. Then user 2, then sorry, object going to same concept. Something went wrong. Right, in the previous we are getting even user 2 and user 3 also, but now something went wrong. So let us see that error. Saying that add gender is not a function. So you have actually given it as a function only, I mean method under the user 2, and you even also accessed its definition and setting some property, and this property value you are accessing, but still it is saying that it is not a function, meaning what user, sorry, not user, irrespective of the object, don't have an authority directly to give or directly to work with the user defined methods. Meaning any object, if we require to add some methods inside that, if you want to add or if you want to use any methods, then how? All the methods, whatever that you want to use in a particular object, or else irrespective of the object, that first should be given in the information of the user details. Meaning a function or method what you want to use irrespective of the object as a property. This is just acting as a property and that equals to give a call to its method. Then we are getting right now. So this is how you can do, meaning giving information in the constructor which we have used to build or to create an object. User details is a main method which is used to declare an object. So all the properties are directly or the methods what you want to use that has to be listed out in the main, what you can say, user defined function. That is why now it's displaying gender male in the second record. So this is concept what we can do, and so we got a clarity how to declare an object with using a built-in constructor, but it's very rare cases we go because most of the times we can directly go with a common functional, common logic that we can write, sorry, logic that we can write irrespective of the objects and its values separately. So this is a way which is recommended and which is commonly used also. Then for example, let us think. You have created a number of objects, you have created a processing code, something else, everything is successfully going on. After some time, I mean, after some time means when your application starts its execution and a number of people are contacting or a number of requests that you are getting and you are sending a responses continuously going on, and somewhere else required to add a new concept, somewhere else required a new concept, and that should be used irrespective of the object. Meaning, I am saying I want to add a new property somewhere else, but that should be used irrespectively of all the objects. Then how you can set a new property? Let us think that you have crossed this definition and you have crossed a number of object declaration, everything, its executions, and somewhere else got a requirement and you are unable to get back again, add new property here. So wherever that you require something, a new property that should apply for all the objects, then we have an option, we can say prototyping. Okay, let me write that example in new. Prototype dot html. The concept here is adding a new property and that can be accessible to the all the objects. So what is the user defined function? I mean constructor, we can say user details dot let me do one thing. We have added name, email, even gender is also added ready, and now the name, age. Then now we want to add something, an email address, and that equals to, for example, common, it is admin at the rate of, then now if you want to access this email property, maybe at user 2 or user 3 or anyway, so let us do one thing. Write email, right now. Okay, so the same way, let us even add in the user 3 also. Will it be possible or not? Let us see. Make it user 3 and then saying that undefined. How it can be accessed? Do one thing here. User details dot prototype dot an email. Then now let us see right now. So with the keyword of, with the property of, you can say built-in property of prototype, or else we can say attribute also. We can say mostly in terms of properties only. So with the built-in property of prototype of this, we are assigning a new value that can be accessed throughout your all objects commonly. That is what you can see. So the concept of prototyping is adding a new property even outside of the function definition of what you have written with to declare an object. That is the concept of, we can say, prototyping. Clear up to this points to all of you. The concept of object concept and its property and methods, declarations and acting, and at the same time now its concept of prototyping. Could you please let me know if you have any doubts we can discuss, or we move further? No questions, sir? Okay.
I have one question.
Just tell me, please.
So the user details and add gender,
Ah,
which are functions, right?
user details is a construct. We can treat it as a constructor to declare an object. But whereas add gender is a one of the concepts that is accessing in the, that means in the box user two is referring. Okay, let me tell you how it can be. Okay, let's show. Actually, if it is showing like something graphical, I can draw it, but no problem. I will show. Simple example. I will show. Hold on. JavaScript object and then click on images. You can see here representation. Okay, right here. One of the example. An object is holding properties. When user one can access these two things. When user two can access two things. In the same way, we have additionally written the method here. And object one, object two, or user one, user two. So to declare this total concept, you have to use something common functionality. That is what you can say. Use details we have done here.
If I add a new keyword with the add gender, then it also work as a constructor, right?
Yes, exactly. When you declare, but one thing you have to say, I mean, maybe user two or whatever it might be, the same syntax it should follow. If you want, irrespective of the name, if you place this add gender in here, then it is considered as a user different constructor, and you are declaring in your object with that.
So like capital object is an inbuilt class, right?
Capital object. Ah, yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is a built-in constructor, we can say. Clear now? It is a built-in constructor. That's the reason we don't need to write any specific functionality directly saying the values are assigning and axing. But whereas here you have able to pass your own values at the time of declaring an object, and you can write not only assigning, you even can also do any action part here. Yes. But with the built-in constructor, you don't have such kind of flexibility to make it our own statements. That is why we go with the concept of user-defined constructor only. Okay. Then,
So the
uh,
object is also a constructor, right?
which one? Which one you say? Which object you are saying? Constructor.
User one. User one.
You are saying this one. So, no?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is a built-in constructor. We say it is a built-in means as it's already defined by JavaScript programmers or developers, and it is considered as a constructor. As why it is considered as a constructor? Because of your program, when your program starts, the first preference will be given to the constructor, and that is going ahead to execute the rest of the statements. That is why we say it is constructor. Okay, now, so it is built-in constructor. It is user-defined constructor. Both are constructors only. But in that case, which one is the first execution is obviously this one only, because it is a built-in. If you don't have, then this is the, so that's it. Otherwise, that's it. Okay, now, right. With this concept, now we create the concept of closures. What is the concept of closure? Simple statement we can say referring the value of inner function into the output. Okay, simple statement to understand a group of related functionalities can set under one main functionality. How it is working, let me tell you. The concept of closures, how it will work, let us discuss. Mm, Closures. Then mm, let me write something var something ID. CBID means something it is celebrity ID or something ID. And we are declaring new space. I'm just writing then as you have given a call to here, it is just entering into its definition, function space, celebrity ID, and then and just set some value to the variable. I mean, you can say property. So celebrity ID and that equals to okay, let it be something one. And now we want to see how can you see that output. To see this output now, observe. I am just writing document dot write ID and just giving with CVID dot get celebrity ID. What do you mean by this? You are saying, could you please, if you don't mind, could you please kindly mute? If you have any doubts, please unmute and discuss. So, what do you say with this? You are giving a call to get celebrity ID. Generally, what you have to do, you need to write a function definition. Yes, of course, here also now we are going to write. We don't say that we are not going to write. We will write, but where you are writing, are you writing like this? If you are writing like this, then it's not a concept of closure. So how inside the main function itself, you are using a keyword return. Inside this return, writing with anonymous function, as we have discussed somewhere else. Anonymous function, how it will be. A function name, it's equals to new space, sorry, a function name that equals to function of parameters. Here we are writing a colon function, opening closing parentheses, and entering into its definition. And this is just returning a value of, we can say, celebrity ID. Now, so let us see that output. Closures right now. Okay, we are getting that output celebrity ID CV1 ID1. Concept is a sub-function, a function that is considered as a sub-function inside the main function as a return statement, returning an output of this total function. For example, if we want to add new function, sorry, if we want to update a value of celebrity ID, so what you can do, cvid dot set celebrity ID, something you are setting. So then once you are giving a call, then it is again, yes, this is separate function in the same celebrity ID, and now which you are passing is a separate function, but you are passing parameter now. So function of take that argument of anything that you can write an argument to hold that value, and then update the value of celebrity ID to new, sorry, new ID. That's it. As it is given a call, it is entering into its definition and updated. So after that updating, again, if you want to see, once again, if you have given a call, then you can see here right now. So you observe the multiple functionalities that are executing, that are considering as a part of under the main functionality, and the total number of or group of sub functions are just acting as a return statement of a main functionality. This is how you can create the concept of a closure, making a reference of one's functionality output to the main functionality. Clear concept? Writing the group of functionalities inside the main functionality under the return statement is a simple statement. Whatever you do, maybe returning or doing some functionality, it's your wish. When you come to this place, if you want to do anything and wants to do something and output, here itself, if you want to print, yes, you can print, but you are expecting something output, so you have to return something. And here itself, you have to print something return. So here you are just setting, you are not printing. So no need to bother about the print return statement here. That's why we say a set of sub functions, a set of functionalities that can be under the main functionality. Now, the concept is higher order, or you can say filter. Some okay, how you can work with the concept of JSON? What is the concept of JSON? Let me write. We want to maintain a group of records in terms of JSON, and we want to fetch the records. How you can do it? Let us have this. Okay, let me go with this. So let me make it. You can say JSON. Of course, we are working with the concepts of filter. Sorry, filter and map functions. Then now, how you can create the concept of JSON, holding a group of records under one object name. How something were okay, let me write something users or anything, and that equals to square bracket. Normally you will be writing, if you are writing a single value, that is first value, comma, second value, comma, so on, means it is just a array. But you are entering into the square bracket, saying that group of records that you can maintain, and each record that can be named. Okay, let me write something, and email. You can go with any other concept also, not only this concept. I'm just writing. And age. This is first record, comma, second, third, fourth. Like this, you can write a number of records. So just set it something. And let me write something. Paul in the same way, let us write values here. And right here, Smith. Write a Sam and something. Jip. So you have whole a group of records, and each record is having its own properties. And how can you access all these records, or else how can you access a group of records by writing conditions or something else? So now what we can do is, let us write var display users, and that equals to from the users object, you are writing a filter. A filter is a built-in method which it can access same, what can I say, of course, a callback function, whatever we have done, a value, index, and array. So writing in previous example somewhere else, every and something like this, we have given a call separately and defined a function definition separately, right now. But here we are writing here itself the callback function, that is definition function of from all the users, irrespective of the technology, you have to refer an object which is holding group of properties, group of values, can be accessed one by one, not at a time all the things. At a time you can't refer all the values. So from the users, you are filtering. Okay, let me do one thing. Instead of going first with condition, let me first display that output as it is. Then you can get an idea. Write a map. A map is a built-in method. Inside this function of that particular user. In this return So you can say mm, name user. What is concept is from the group of users, you are extracted first user saying that name, and from this name, email, age, it has to extract. So user dot name. Then email and then age. So user dot can say age, sorry, email, and you can say age. So first refer that output. Nothing else displaying. Okay, let us do one thing. Making something as a string. And in the very beginning, we have discussed right now with this concept. Of course, just add now. That is, you are extracting then still it is not displaying. Sorry. You have written everything, but where did you given an output of display users? You have completed everything, but you have to write now the concept of
Users dot name.
no. User only. Why means users is a group. You are extracting first record. So you can't extract that directly user start. You are giving a sample or temporary object name, and from that you are picking up each and everything. You have done everything in a proper way, but you did not given document or try anywhere without a concept of document or try. How can it will print? You are returning something to this variable, right? This is total statement. You are returning something to this, and now document dot write display users. So then document dot write that variable. Sorry. Right now. Okay, we can now remove this one. It is not an issue. Okay, so now something return statement. Why? What is the problem here? Because of a return statement, irrespective of the programming language, will return only one output, but you are trying to make it four outputs at a time. So what you can do here, you can make it all the things, all the values at one block itself, and then so now you can see that output. Now also it's unable to see, na? What is that error? Let us see. Got expression greater than. Okay, one display users, and it is displaying name, email, and age only. Same as it is. Four records we have, it is repeated for four times, but it is not repeating, sorry, it's not referring its value. Actually, what we have written in the very beginning is correct only. But actually, now,
How it is translating from users to user, where you have defined user?
one second, let me tell you, let me. Yes, now it's correct. John, like John, Paul, and Sam. Now we will be just writing. Okay, I will let you. See, irrespective of the programming language, maybe JavaScript or Java or .NET or PHP or whatever it may be, when you are maintaining a group of records in terms of this is one record, this is one record, this is one, this one, and you have mentioned all the things are under the square bracket. What is the meaning? Actually, it seems something that you are maintaining an array, right? And each record is having its
So
own
you're using
index.
a map function here. Okay.
Each record is having its own index referring with 0, 1, 2, 3, so on, and you are referring from the users. From the users, a map is something such a
Yeah, I did
functionality.
not notice that map function. Okay. Yeah, I got
A map,
yeah.
a map is something a function that is extracting from the users, taking a sample name from that first record referring, automatically looping that n number of records whatever we are having. That's why. Okay, let us print the same way this two also. Then you can see. Okay, so this is how you can refer the concepts of what you can say. Remove here because anyway you have extracted now. Okay, why it is printing? Actually, we should not print that single codes. What timing did it be like this? For the first value, okay, comma. Okay, sorry. I am thinking that it is a single quotes. Comma. It is totally one array. Comma. Second array, third array, and fourth array. Like this, separated by comma. Now clear? And in this, you even can add a filter function which takes a condition. that we'll discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay, and with this, we are done with the concepts of JavaScript, and we enter into the concepts of ES6, how it will work, and as discussed, the rest of things also. Okay, tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session, we will start with the concept of ES6. Okay, right?
Okay. Yep.
Right then. Thank you, and bye to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir.